Okay, welcome to week 28 of Jimmy's Trivia, the last one of 2020 YouTube version. Let's get started. Rules same as ever. Our first category, in the news, 5 things that have happened since last week. Here's your first question. Due to a spike in demand because of many people staying at home over Christmas, what essential holiday item has seen a surge in demand and as a result worldwide shortages in supply, leading some people to spend as much as $2,000 or more for one? Question 2. The Prime Minister of Eswatini last week died of complications due to COVID-19, becoming the first world leader to do so. By what other name was the country of Eswatini known until it was renamed in 2018? Question 3. This week, Zoox, a startup company owned by Amazon, unveiled its version of what type of futuristic, although increasingly becoming part of the present, machine? So what did they develop? Question 4. David Cornwell, former MI6 agent and prolific author, died this week at the age of 89. By what pen name is he better known? Your last question in the news. Question 5. Eric Bauza, a talented comedian and voice actor born and raised in Scarborough, is now the voice of many iconic cartoon characters and for the past few weeks has been working alongside LeBron James on the set of what upcoming movie? Okay, your next category is Christmas movies. Christmas is coming up. We're all going to be at home, probably watching movies. Let's talk about some of our favorites. The first one. What is the name of the building assaulted by Hans Gruber and his band of terrorists in Die Hard? That's a mistake. They're not terrorists. 1 second. Yeah, better. Next question. Question 7. What is the name of this character pictured below? Question 8. What iconic Christmas character has a dog named Max? Question 9. In the 1983 Christmas movie A Christmas Story, what does young Ralphie Parker really want for Christmas? I said Christmas a lot. And question 10. In the 1996 movie Jingle All the Way, what toy are fathers Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad desperately trying to acquire before Christmas to give to their respective sons? Okay, the next category is called 2020 in Review. So this is all about questions about what has happened in the past year. Question 1 in this category. Due in no small part to the exceptional leadership of President Tsai Ing-wen, what Asian country has had perhaps the best response to the COVID-19 virus, limiting deaths to a mere 7 despite proximity to several other hard-hit countries? Question 12. How many electoral college votes did Joe Biden receive in the U.S. presidential election? Confirmed on Monday, I think. Question 13. On one of the few sporting events to occur uninterrupted this year was the World Junior Hockey Championship tournament won by Canada on January 5th. What nation did Canada beat in the final of this tournament? Question 14. In July, the Japanese oil tanker Wakashio ran aground on a coral reef. Not real. Ran aground on a coral reef and a month later began breaking apart, spilling over 1,000 tons of oil into the surrounding ocean. Off the coast of what African island nation did this environmental disaster occur? And the last question in this category, perhaps something that would have received more attention if events had played out differently. In early May of this year, mercenaries from Silver Corp USA, a private military company, with the aid of dissidents from the country, tried but failed to remove what foreign leader from office? Okay, your last category in round number 1 is called Hurricane Season. Here's your first question. What HBO TV show, first airing in 2010, is set in New Orleans and is about the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina? Question 17. The Carolina Hurricanes have won one Stanley Cup in franchise history, and it was after the 2005-2006 season. What Canadian team did they beat in the Cup final that year? Question 18. The 1999 film The Hurricane, starring Denzel Washington, is about what boxer who was wrongly convicted of a triple murder and spent nearly 20 years in prison? Question 19. The 1983 song Rock Me Like a Hurricane is by what German rock band? And your last question in this category. What was the name of the Category 5 hurricane that devastated Puerto Rico and other Caribbean islands in September of 2017? Okay, that's the end of round number 1. Let's take up the answers. Question 1. The Christmas item that has seen a huge spike in cost to consumers are Christmas trees. Eswatini was formerly known as Swaziland in southern Africa. Zoox has unveiled a self-driving car. It's going to be used as a taxi. David Cornwell, his pen name is John Le Carré. Writes spy novels, or wrote spy novels. And Eric Bauza is currently the voice of Bugs Bunny and other Looney Tunes characters. He's working on Space Jam 2, although not credited. Ooh, excuse me. Question 6. Hans Gruber and his henchmen assault Nakatomi Plaza. Again, they're not terrorists. Famously not terrorists. This character, his name is Thurman Merman. He's from Bad Santa. Max is the dog of the Grinch. Ralphie Parker wants a BB gun, and I believe he gets it and then goes on a rampage, I assume. I've never seen it. And in Jingle All the Way, the fathers are trying to get a Turbo Man doll, or action figure. Tsai Ing-wen is the president of Taiwan. Joe Biden received 306 electoral college votes. Canada defeated Russia in the World Junior Hockey Tournament in the final. Wakashio broke apart and spilled oil off the coast of Mauritius. And this basically Bay of Pigs style raid was done to try to remove Nicolas Maduro from office, the leader of Venezuela. Next question. Hurricanes. The TV show set in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina is called Treme. Carolina defeated Edmonton in 7 games to win the Stanley Cup in this tournament. Denzel Washington plays Reuben Carter in the Hurricane movie. The song is by a band called Scorpions. And the hurricane that devastated Puerto Rico was Hurricane Maria. Okay, that's the end of round number 1. Let's move on to round number 2. Your first category is called I'm Not a Doctor, I Just Play One on TV. I'm going to give you the name of a TV doctor. You have to tell me who plays that person, the actor. Here's your first one. Dr. Gregory House. Next one, Dr. Christina Yang. Next we have Dr. John J.D. Dorian. Next we have Dr. Doug Ross. And finally we have Hawkeye Pierce. Remember, it's TV. Okay, moving on. Your next category is called the human body. Since we're doing doctors, let's look at what doctors deal with What is special about someone with heterochromia? Next question. What type of blood cells live the longest in the human body? Red blood cells, white blood cells, or platelets? Question 28. Where on the body would you find your pinna? I stress the pronunciation. Pinna. Question 29. What is the name of the fluid that lubricates and cushions movable joints between the bones? And your last question in this category. In which organ would you find the islets of Langerhans? The gallbladder, the liver, or the pancreas? Okay, next category is called Not Shakespeare. So these are all the plays, but none of them are Shakespeare plays. Here's your first question. What playwright, among other works, penned A Streetcar Named Desire and The Glass Menagerie? Question 32. What Neil Simon play is about newlyweds Corey and Paul Blatter, who have just moved into a brownstone apartment in New York City, and this play premiered on Broadway in 1963? What is its name? Question 33. What Irishman wrote a 19th century play in which it's really essential that the women characters' suitors have a certain name? Question 34. Who wrote the 1973 play Equus? It's about a boy who blinds a bunch of horses or something? I've never seen it. Question 35. What is the name of the family in Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman? Okay, your last category in round number 2 is called 15-letter words. I will give you a clue and your answer will be a 15-letter word. Here's your first one. Oh yeah, there you go. The action of foretelling or predicting the future. Question 37. A potent central nervous stimulant that is mainly used as a recreational drug. Question 38. Something an investor must consider to limit overexposure to one sector or industry. Question 39. A form of problem solving most commonly applied to machines or computers. And your last clue in round number 2, the subject of a popular 1989 movie starring Rick Moranis. Okay, that's the end of round number 2. Let's take up the answers. TV Doctors, Greg House is played by Hugh Laurie. Christina Yang is Sandra Oh. John Dorian is played by Zach Braff in Scrubs. Doug Ross, that is George Clooney in ER. And Hawkeye Pierce is played by Alan Alda. I'm not sure that he's an actual doctor, but we include him in. And someone with heterochromia has eyes that are 2 different colors. The type of blood cell that lives longest in the human body by quite a bit is the red blood cell. The other 2 are much, much quicker to die. The pinna is part of your ear. It's basically the fleshy part on the outside. The fluid that lubricates joints between bones is called synovial fluid. And the islets of Langerhans are in your pancreas. They produce insulin and the other counter insulin. Glucagon? Question mark. Question 31. These 2 plays were written by Tennessee Williams. This Neil Simon play, I actually worked on a production of this, is called Barefoot in the Park. 33. The Irishman who wrote The Importance of Being Earnest is Oscar Wilde. Equus was written by Peter Schaefer. And the name of the family in Death of a Salesman is the Lohman family. Biff and Willie and others. 15 letters words. Predicting the future, that is prognostication. Potent central nervous stimulant, that is methamphetamine. Something an investor must consider is diversification. So form of problem solving, that is troubleshooting, which is one word. And the subject of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is miniaturization. Miniaturization. It's not a typo, is it? I think it is. Miniaturization. There we go. Okay. We're moving on. We're going to round number 3. We're going to start with bad TV summaries. I did this last week. I thought it was fun. So I'm going to poorly explain a TV show, and you get to tell me what that TV show is. All of these shows have been featured in my TV themes in the past. So yes, we're doubling up on TV. Deal with it. Here we go. The first one. A bunch of idiots live in Nova Scotia. Question 42. A robot becomes self-aware and she is seriously pissed off. Question 43. A woman has a special job in which she has to wear a bunch of outfits and also severe daddy issues. Question 44. A doctor wakes up each episode not knowing who he is and he has a friend named Ziggy. And the last TV summary. Perfectly normal nuclear family in the 80s does normal stuff. The parents are travel agents after all. Nothing to see here. Okay, that's the end of TV summaries. Your next category is called Santa Claus is Coming to Town. This is all about Santa Claus around the world and supporting cast. Here we go. Instead of being a nice guy bearing gifts, historically, Julupuki was an evil goat-like creature that demanded that children behave. In what country's culture does Julupuki exist? I'm almost certainly butchering that pronunciation. Question 47. In what country might one encounter Hotiosho, who, like Santa, carries a big sack over his back, but unlike Santa, he's got eyes in the back of his head that allows him to know when children are being naughty? 48. A companion of St. Nicholas in many Central European countries, what character is described as a half-goat, half-demon, and is responsible for punishing children who have misbehaved? This is a different character than the first question. There's a lot of goats in Christmas lore. Question 49. Dad Moroz, translated as Father Frost, is the Santa Claus in Russia and many Slavic states, but rather than deliver gifts on December 25th, he delivers gifts on Orthodox Christmas. What date is Orthodox Christmas? Like Russian Orthodox Christianity. And the last question, Canada Post offers a service whereby children and adults, I guess, can send letters to Santa Claus. These letters should be addressed to Santa at the North Pole, but with what postal code? Okay, we can move on to general knowledge, 5 random questions. First question, what does the word trepanning mean? Is it a landscaping technique to trim bushes and hedges in a manner to force them to grow in a desired direction, a medieval surgical procedure where a hole is drilled in the skull, or a siege-era warfare strategy of bombarding the bottom of a castle wall to compromise the entire wall? Question 52. Informer, released in 1992, is the highest charting reggae song of all time. From what country is the artist who performed Informer? Question 53. The unpleasant-looking creature pictured below is the only known living animal to have a skull but no spinal column. What is it called? Question 54. How many days of the week in the English language are named after Norse gods? And your last general knowledge question. Born in 1934, how many of the Dion quintuplets are still alive? Okay, let's move on to the 3-pointers. First 3-pointer. In what European countries would you find the following states or regions? Piedmont, Aragon, and Limburg. So we're looking for a modern day European country. Next one, who were the 3 founding members of the band The Who? Who were the Who? Yeah. 58. Of Santa's reindeer, there's only one set of 3 that share the same first letter. Who are these 3 reindeer? 59. In the first Lord of the Rings book, The Fellowship of the Ring, what are the proper names of the White Wizard, the Grey Wizard, and the Brown Wizard? And your last question of the night and of the year. In what museum would you typically find the following works of art? The Venus de Milo, Charles IV of Spain and his family, and Starry Night. And I know sometimes paintings get loaned to other museums, but where do these works of art call home, basically? Okay, that's the end of round number 3. Let's do some answers. TV summaries: bunch of idiots live in Nova Scotia. That's Trailer Park Boys. The pissed off robot is in the Westworld. The woman who has a special job, that is Alias. Doctor with a friend named Ziggy, that is Quantum Leap. And the last one is The Americans, because they're spies. Get it? Okay, Santa Claus Juhlapukki exists in Finland. Hotyosho, very Japanese name. It's from Japan. This character who's half goat, half demon is the Krampus. Dead Moroge delivers on Orthodox Christmas. Orthodox Christmas is January 7th. And the postal code, if you're addressing a letter to Santa, is H0H0H0. Get it? It's a joke. General knowledge: trepanning is a medieval surgical procedure where a hole is drilled in the skull. Pretty sure they don't do that anymore. Informer is actually was performed by a guy from Scarborough. It's Canadian. This is the guy. The unpleasant looking creature is a hagfish, not Ted Cruz. Not acceptable answer. The Norse gods have lent their names to 4 days of the week in the English language, all of Tuesday to Friday. And of the Dion quintuplets, 2 of them are still alive. 3 pointers: Piedmont is in Italy, Aragon is Spain, and Limburg is in the Netherlands. The founding members of The Who were Roger Daltrey, Pete Townsend, and John Entwistle. The 3 reindeer with the same first letter are Dasher, Dancer, and Donner. The White Wizard is Sauron, the Grey Wizard is Gandalf, and the Brown Wizard, his name is Radagast. And your last question: the Venus de Milo is usually in the Louvre, since Charles IV is of Spain, that is in the Prado, and Starry Night is typically found in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. Okay, that's the end. Hope you had fun. See you later in 2021.